Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome outside Century League Field. I'm Ryan. He's Pete.
Hello.
Thursday night football. Feels like we were just doing this Sunday, weren't we?
It's a really short turnaround. It is a really long flight out here. This is a tough task for the Packers, driving or flying all the way across the country. Just from Chicago to here for my flight, the airtime was 4 hours.
It might be the longest flight they can make in the NFL. I think, is it longer than LA because of how north it is?
I'm sure, yeah. LA was a shorter flight from Chicago, yeah.
So short week. Hello, Steven. Short week, longest flight, and somehow they're going to try to win a game at this stadium behind us.
Seahawks, I mean, they have to play in 4 days too, but they don't have to travel, so that is a big thing.
Yeah.
So you picked the Seahawks by basically a touchdown?
I think I said 28-22, which was, yes, the NFC Championship score the last time they were here. I think it's going to be that kind of game, though. I think mid-20s. They got to be shot physically. So to me, that's going to play a factor in this game. Yes, Andrew, Trevor Davis is the starting returner.
It's a good thing for the Packers that Aaron Jones is really young. But he's a young guy, second-year guy.
They going to ride him tonight?
I don't see how they don't. They have to.
Yes. The only thing is I felt that way before, and they haven't. So, that's where it's hard for me. Kyle's saying 24-14 Packers win. Bold. Not impossible. That's bold.
Let's read them off the inactive list there.
Yeah, so Kevin King, hamstring inactive. Randall Cobb, hamstring inactive. Neither of them played against Miami. Nick Perry with the knee is inactive. Kentrell Bryce with the ankle is inactive. So that's 4 starting caliber players right there. And then QB, Tim Boyle inactive. Reserve guard, Lucas Patrick, who had the concussion on the kickoff return, he's inactive. And reserve offensive tackle, Alex Light, also inactive. Last week they had 6 inactives. They were feeling pretty good. You know, they didn't even have 52 on the roster. They're feeling okay. This week, the attrition is starting to catch up to a team that's been really healthy this season.
Somebody was asking about the weather. It's really nice. It's got to be low 50s, no wind, a little overcast.
Gorgeous.
Really good game. Really good night for football.
When you step out of that Green Bay air and come to here, it feels a lot warmer than it even is.
Stacy says the screen keeps freezing. It looks okay from our end, so we'll just keep going. But if you're still having issues, let us know.
Frank, yes, Jair Alexander will be playing tonight. According to Rob Domofsky's tweet, he was playing some catch with a fan, so that's cool.
Do you consider this a must-win game?
I don't.
Neither do I.
I think it's not a must-win. It'd be a big win, maybe a huge win, but it's not a must-win. And
the thing that winning this game does is it gives them cushion for losing another game.
Be a springboard.
I don't know if 9 wins gets you in or not. Maybe 50-50, maybe a little less than 50-50.
I think it does.
10 wins.
Yes.
10 wins will get you in for sure.
I'm going to say 9 wins doesn't. So, you know, this 4-4-1, this is one step closer.
So the
Martinez is good, Erica, yes.
I wonder how his ankle is feeling. I'm really surprised he played last week. I didn't think he had any chance watching him limp off that field the week before. Do we have the Seahawks? Have the Seahawks inactives been announced yet?
I haven't.
Do you want to take a quick gander?
Sure, let's do that. You take the wheel, Pete.
Yeah, Andrew. It would be even more than a confidence booster. It would give them also. Well, they need a road win. They haven't won on the road. You can't do anything in the postseason this league if you can't win on the road. I mean, no matter where they finish, they're not winning the division. They're going to have to play on the road. So they got to show that they can win on the road. I don't know if Seattle is garbage, whoever that was, but their defense is nothing like what it used to be. I think they're giving up 5 yards a carry, which is one of the worst averages per carry in the league.
Seattle's got to be feeling pretty good about itself. What frustrated, but coming off that LA loss. KJ Wright is inactive. Delano Hill, Nico Thorpe, CJ Procise, Dion Jordan, Ethan. Oh boy, say that last name for me. Pocic, and Puna Ford, all inactive. So KJ Wright obviously being the big one there. CJ Procise.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not what I wouldn't say that's what the Packers inactive.
This is kind of. I mean, the NFL is obviously a big time passing game, but this is going to be a little more old school where run defense and running the ball is going to go a long way towards determining who wins, because the Seahawks, they're the only team in the league that runs a little more than it passes. They're just over 50% the run pass rate.
there's a question about why Kevin King is always hurt. And you asked a question that is always asked.
Aaron Nagler, good to see you.
Hey, Aaron.
Our good friend Aaron Nagler is watching.
So here's the thing with Kevin King. There's a reason why a dude that is 6'3", that is 4'4", whatever, low 4'4s, and has a lot of ability to play this game at a premier position, didn't go in the first round because of the medical. There's the red flag. And that's the risk that these guys always take as GMs, talent evaluators, when you've got a guy who's got the ability but doesn't have the medical, or vice versa. Maybe has clean medical, doesn't have the ability. It's a balance, and it sure seems like that's just the way it's going to be with Kevin King. And when he plays and when he's healthy, he's going to be a darn good player. He's going to be one of their best players on defense.
When he and Alexander play, these guys can both make these guys can cover. He's a really slightly built guy. Like you see these guys in the locker room, and a lot of these guys are really muscled up. And wide shoulders. He's got narrow shoulders, and he's really skinny. I was going to say maybe that's why he's fragile or more injury prone. But Tramon Williams is a really wiry, skinny guy too, and his first go around, what was he here? 8 years, I think. I think he missed 2 or 3 games total in 8 years. He's been really healthy. So some of it's just the way you're put together, I'm sure. People are saying hi to you, Aaron.
I've got to say the tailgate here smells a little different than it does in Green Bay.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does indeed.
A little different. What's Aaron up to? Aaron Jones? Aaron Nagler, everyone's favorite. He's in New York.
He is. He's
great man.
He's at TV, and I think he'll be watching the game and streaming it, if I remember right. That's how he handles that. A lot of people saying hi to you, Aaron.
Josh Simon, bring Perry and Matthews back next year. Well, Perry's under contract, but do they have the option after next year? I can't remember. It's next year or the year after.
They can cut him.
Yeah, well, that's true too. So, in fact, it's different than Clay Matthews, where they actually have to make a decision on him.
I have to guess Aaron Nagler wishing you were Aaron wishes he was here. It's really nice. It's a really nice night tonight. This is a very cool city.
Love the city.
Great skyline. A great mix of old buildings. You can tell they're built like in the 20s and 30s, and around 1915 in there.
It's not just and then
the new modern buildings too. It's pretty neat.
You didn't answer the question, Pete.
What was the question?
Perry and Matthews, are they back next year?
I'd bet no on both.
No on both.
Yeah. I think the Packers are just going to have to start over at outside linebacker. That would be my guess. Of course, we have to see how the season finishes out, but Perry's health is just too precarious. His contract, I'd have to look it up. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think it's a $9 or $10 million contract next year.
Would you want?
That's just too much for a guy who you can't rely on playing.
Would you want Clay Matthews back to play off ball?
Possibly, although it's not like he's going to be. He's not going to be faster next year than he is this year. And at what price would you pay? Will he do a deal for $5 million?
McCarthy back next year. You know what? Here's the deal with Mike McCarthy. We're in the middle of the movie right now, and I'm not sure how it ends. It could very well end that he's not the coach next year. In fact, if they're trending this way and they miss the playoffs, that'd be where my money is. But they could also run the table. You don't know. I mean, 2016, nobody had them in the NFC Championship game. They've been here before. So, I mean, look at 2010 where they were then. They've been here before, kind of middle of the season, in a rut, and they've always seemed to gotten themselves out of the rut. Will they do it again? If they do, and if they make a playoff run, and who knows, then, yeah, it's possible he could be back. It's also, we don't know how the movie is. That's why you watch.
You're asking if this is the second loudest behind Arrowhead. Rodgers this week, did I hear him say that that this is the loudest stadium he's played in?
I can't remember if he said that specifically.
I thought it at one.
He talked about the crowd noise.
Yeah, I thought he said that. I still think the domes are a little louder. I mean, I'm not sure I still have heard a place louder than when they played St. Louis in the
Minnesota's
playoffs.
Loud.
When they played St. Louis in the playoffs with the greatest show on turf, that was incredibly loud. And New Orleans is off the charts.
Yeah, the Superdome's very loud.
But this place is really loud. And they built it too with the overhangs. They purposely made it to keep the noise in.
Someone will pay Clay, Jeremy says.
I have my doubts. I mean, teams. I mean, they can see the tape and they can see he's not winning one-on-ones.
2.5 sacks.
Yeah, I don't know how much do you think he'll make next year. The season's not over yet, so we got to see how it plays out.
5-6.
Yeah, that's my guess. I wonder if they do pipe in noise. I remember being at Minnesota one year. We got there really early, like 3.5 hours before the game, and they were playing the crowd noise to see if it worked or not. So they definitely piped in crowd noise in Minnesota back then, even though that's supposedly against NFL rules.
Mike McCarthy talked about how you can tell they have the best stereo system in the league in the pregame. And yes, you can. It's very loud, the stereo system they have right there. I don't know if he just meant the music, though.
Yes, Trevor Davis, he's active.
Yes.
I'm sure he'll be returning punts and kicks. Davis is too stale, might fumble. That's a good point. He hasn't played any full contact football, so there is some risk there. But Tremont Williams fumbled last week too, so any more coming from Mercedes Lewis?
If they don't cover him, of course. Yeah, it's a really good way to have a 30-yard game when literally no one on the field covers you.
Yeah, he just can't run at all anymore.
No.
That's so it'll only be the element of surprise kind of catches.
Well, I say it's like the basketball version of like a guard who can't shoot and you just play him at like 18 feet and don't go out to the three-point line and dare him to shoot. That's kind of how teams are playing Mercedes Lewis right now.
I think somebody was asking whether the Packers would go after Bell in the offseason. I see zero chance of that happening. No need to. It's just
no need to at all.
The bang for the buck where Khalil Mack would have been worth every penny and all that money because he would have so much improved the team. I don't think Bell would improve you enough to make it worth. I mean, he's going to get a deal that guarantees, what, $50 million at least?
Joe wants to know, and this is probably a good one to end on. Joe wants to know, will Aaron Rodgers find more of Jimmy G tonight? His return to Seattle. Is this a big night for Jimmy Graham?
What's over-under for catches for him?
The over-under, 4.
I was going to say 5, so pretty close. He has not been
4.5.
He has not been the touchdown maker that many of us and pundits. I remember Tony Romo saying he liked the Packers as one of the Super Bowl favorites because of the Jimmy Graham acquisition. And it's the same story, this league year after year. Age catches up slowly and then all at once. Now I'm not sure he's bottomed. I mean, he'll be in the league next year, I'm sure, but he doesn't have the speed to stretch defenses down the middle. Those red zone throws, those jump ball throws, he's just not as good as he was a couple years ago at going up and getting them.
All right, so Pete, help me out here, because I might just be in the minority, but I get the feeling that, I mean, the talk about Jimmy Graham is that this guy's been basically a bust. I mean, that's what it feels like, is that the talk is that he's been a bust. And he's going to get 800 yards, 60 catches, 5 touchdowns. If you look at Packers tight ends, since basically Jermichael Finley, they haven't even been close to that. I get that he's been paid as a game changer, and he hasn't been.
I don't think that's.
But there's been a lot of production.
I don't think you measure him against what other Packers tight ends have done. You measure him against the impact he was supposed to have. They were looking for him to have in the passing game, and it's been half of what they were hoping
800
for.
yards is nothing, not nothing for a tight end.
It's still. I just disagree with you. I just think bust is maybe a hair strong, but he's not even close to being worth $13 million.
He's not been the touchdown machine. I get that. I don't know. If
I had to bet right now, I bet that unless he took a pay cut, that they're not going to pay him $9 million next year.
I would agree with that.
I think that's in fact a tacit agreement then that he's been more bust than boom.
Paul says that he'd still rather have Jared Cook.
Can't disagree with that.
Boy, did the Packers screw that one up.
Yep, they did.
They sure did. All right, hey, we'll see if they screw up this one tonight or if they come back with a really, really big win to Green Bay. The NFL did them no favors, but they have an opportunity here against another team that's in the same boat as they are. So we'll see. Thursday Night Football, Central Lake Field. He's Pete, I'm Ryan. Take care. Make sure you follow PackersNews.com for full coverage. We'll see you later.